Hello friends, welcome to AB Astrology. So today we're going to talk about Dhanishtha Nakshatra. So let me share my slide, share screen. Okay, so Dhanishtha Nakshatra, it is also known as Star of Symphony. It has many names. It is known by many names, so it is also known as Shravishtha also, which is a pair nakshatra with Shravana, which means the famous one, also called as the kingly star, star of symphony. And it is also called as Avittam, the going back of Mahabali. As Shravana is coming back, Avittam Dhanishta is going back of Mahabali. Symbol is drum, flute, tabla, mridang, which I have given here as well. Ruling planet is Mars and Lord is Kartike, and both are commander-in-chief, we all know that. Let me see if I'm... Okay, I'm recording. I just wanted to make sure of that. Okay, so the deity is Astha Vasus. We all know the Panch Mahabhutas of earth, water, fire, wind, sky, in combination with sun, moon, and the stars. We all know that. Sacred bird is Mayura, peacock. Sacred animal is female lion. We're going to talk more about that. Rashi falls in Aquarius and Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. So it is very important to look at the Saturn placement in the chart as well. Motivation is dharma. Basis above is birth. Basis below is prosperity. So they are born with prosperity. Shakti is Khyapa Yatri Shakti. Bestow fame, prosperity, and success. And the desire of this nakshatra, or the desire of the deity, I would say, is may we stay close to the peak of the gods, or may we stay higher in the hierarchy of the summit. That is the desire. The body part is back and anus. So sometimes also you can say, as back is associated with this nakshatra, you might have some trouble with the back too, or with the spine. Star is Delphini, which is on the astronomical aspect. So what does Dhanishta, Avittam, Shravishtha means? Dhans mean wealth, which can be material or non-material. Isht, Jyotish, Isht, we all know is related to God. Shravishtha means the famous one. And Dhanishta, desire is to be in the limelight, that we can see in the Dhanishta native as well. They love to stay in the limelight. So both name implies that the power of this nakshatra is to bestow the native with both material and immaterial elements of life. What Avittam stands for: A, achiever; V, versatile; I, inspiring; T, treasures; T, thorough; A, amiable; and me, M, movable. So deity associated with this nakshatra, as we have discussed, is Astha Vasus. Asht, we all know, means 8, art in Hindi. Vasu, Vasana, means to dwell. So therefore 8 dwellers. Astha Vasus, the rebirth of the sons of Dharma. And who are those? Apa, Dhara, Dhruva, Soma, Anila, Anala, Pratusha, Prabhasa. And we can see these 8 dwellers, or the 8 elements. Some of them are also associated with the previous nakshatra. Apa related to Purvashada, Soma related to Mrigashira, and so on. So Vasu and Deva. So what Vasudeva means? Deva means the Lord. And the Vasudeva is the Lord of the Vasus. So he is the one who himself is Vasu. And it is stated there in the 10th canto of Bhagavad Gita, Vibhuti Yoga. Lord Krishna says, he is Agni among the Vasus. And Vish Vasunam Pavaka Chashmi. Pavaka is another name of Agni. So here there is a mythology involved for this nakshatra, which we're going to discuss in the later slide, I would say. So cursed for the following adharma. Lesson here is that following adharma has its own consequences, regardless of how many lives we have to take for the same, which we're going to discuss more briefly in the mythology. And what is the motive behind it? Motive behind is the tuning, the synchronization of the 8 elements by their deities to tune with the universal mind, which is Paramatma. And it is very important to harness this Shakti, because that is where people are going to say that we are not getting the result. Then you have to ask yourself, are you harnessing the way you should these 8 elements? Does your 8 elements are tuned? So that is my big question to you. So what the secret text says, as we have the Bible, we all know as BPHS, Bharat Parashara Hora Shastra, and in other text it says Mars is represented as the Lord of the Samved, the Ved that denotes, that shows the consciousness awakening, from where the Kundalini starts, from the base of the back. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, among the Vedas, I am the Samved. And since the entire focus of the Bhagavad Gita is on liberation, we all know that. And Mars is by implication is tied to the liberation, to the moksha. And we all know Ketu, Kuja, or Ketu is the higher octane of Mars, which is related to liberation or to moksha. Adi Parva says, here we're going to discuss more about the mythology. See, the 8 brothers, the Astha Vasus, in their loka, they were roaming around with their wives one day. And the wife of the Prabhasa saw one cow whose name was Nandini. And she told Prabhasa that I want this cow. And then Prabhasa somehow went to convinced his 7 brothers to steal that cow. As the wife of Prabhasa got so much mesmerized with that cow Nandini. So where they did the adharma, because she got the temptation, desire. So later the sage Vishishth got to know about this, and then he cursed the Astha Vasus. There is a huge layer to the curse as well, huge mythology behind that as well. So he cursed the 8 brothers that you have stolen my cow of sweet milk and handsome tail. Therefore, you shall certainly all of you be born on the planet Earth. And we have seen, or we will discuss more about that Bhishma story as he is related to Prabhasa. And we have seen it in Mahabharata also. So huge. I have taken this mythology here because there is another there are many mythologies involved with each and every nakshatra, but I have taken this one. Dhanishta is also known as Avni Devatakam. So which is the period of sun transit to the north, which is the beginning of Dhanishta, which is also called Uttarayan. From Uttara se hum samajh sakte hain Uttarayan, upar. And what is Uttarayan? The start of the sun journey to the north, Uttar Bharat. So the Dhanishta upward movement, as Dhanishta is Urdhva Mukha as well. So we can see the beautiful connection here. Upward movement connection, as well as connection with the climbing the ladder, which we're going to discuss more in the traits part. Also with the Kundalini, which is again upward, going from the Mooladhara Chakra to the Crown Chakra. And it is mentioned there in the Brihad Samhita. So astronomy is very important to understand any nakshatra, and that is where I have also invited Dr. Aditya Togi for the same. So the star of Delphini. So what we can learn from this, because each and every nakshatra got their symbols, not like that. There has to be some logic behind it. So it is very important to understand the logics behind it. Logic behind every mythology, logic behind every trait, logic behind every symbol, why they got that certain symbol. So we all know dolphin is a symbol of enjoyment, social connection, and Dhanishta, enjoy in abundance. That is the one of the bases below for this nakshatra, and it is a very social nakshatra as well. And the same we can say on Dhanishta natives. So the different sounds made by the dolphins are set to create a harmonic symphony, again connected to the music part. Dhan, dhan, dhan. So it is, other than the dhan part, it is a lot about music as well, this nakshatra. So the dolphin symbolizes the empathy. Those who have seen or who have dealt with dolphins, they know that how their empathy or sympathy nature, or the different forms of happiness, again the abundance of material and the non-material or immaterial, I would say, form. And it is also a symbol of harmony and balance, and again the balance of the 8 elements, which we have discussed in the previous slide. They are of very playful nature, which many of you must have seen on the, I would say, Discovery Channel or over the TV. Very gentle in nature. I have seen it. I have personally seen the dolphin, so I can relate to it. Very deep inner strength, yes. And they try to see good in everything. So same goes for the Dhanishta natives. Very cooperative. Dolphins are. Very good willpower, teamwork, courtesy, very courteous nature, that we can say for the same Dhanishta natives as well. Dolphin symbol teaches us how to communicate and relate with the Dhanishta oratory skills. We all know dolphins have a very unique way or sound they make. So especially if you have, or if I see anyone's third lord is Mercury, which is sitting in Dhanishta, very good oratory skills. Or third lord is sitting, is Dhanishta himself in Capricorn or in Aquarius Rashi. So very good orators I have seen. Very dolphins, we all know, they are very intelligent creatures. So that we can, same traits we can see in the Dhanishta natives. So the symbol associated with this nakshatra is drum, or the flute, or the mridang, which we have discussed earlier, or the tabla. So very big music lover. So they keep searching a rhythm in everything. And the one example comes to my mind is, for the Indian audience, they can relate to it, is Anu Malik. He's a very good music composer, and he makes dhun even on a live stage, just like that, in a spur of a moment. So they like to search a rhythm in everything. And we all know flute, drum, tabla, mardang, they are hollow inside. So the feeling of emptiness, they can feel a lot of time or sometimes because of the hollow nature of the drum or of the flute. So these instruments echo, resonate the sound that we play. Jaisa bajayenge, jaisa the way we're gonna blow, the same sound gonna come out. So same goes with the Dhanishta natives. They will simply react how they are treated. That we will discuss more in the traits part. And we all know the musical sound is measured in the wavelength and spiral, and it comes in a spiral. The wavelength comes in a spiral movement like the Kundalini. So we're going to talk more about that too. And Shiva's Damru is another symbol for Dhanishta, which is shaped like a time jar and which is constantly reminding us time is nothing but the divine play which we are part of. So it is very self-explanatory. So what is the bird associated with this nakshatra? It is Mayura, which is the national bird of India. So whenever the national thing I hear, it reminds me of Magha, national, throne. Because here I'm going to talk a little bit about the opposite nakshatra as well, which I keep doing it on my other social platforms. It is very important to observe the opposite nakshatra. And opposite to Dhanishta is also, in the Aquarius side, is also Magha. Here, Mayura himself is the peacock, is the national bird of India. So sometimes we can see the contradictory qualities because two Rashis are involved, our 8 Astha Vasus are involved. So sometimes there can be some contradictions as well, even though in the mythology we have seen the unity, the teamwork between the 8 brothers, because where Prabhasa convinced his brother to steal the cow. So there we can see the teamwork as well. And after that later on the sage cursed them. So it is also, Mayura is also known for immortality, resurrection, awareness, balance, wise vision, and strong legs that we can see from the peacock, the Mayur. And only the male has the colors. And some of you know that I started posting on each and every nakshatra on each and every day. And I started with Jyeshta. So why certain nakshatras got certain symbols? What is the logic behind it? I am always keen to know about that. So do check out if you have not seen on my community post on the YouTube why and how Indra, who gave peacock the colors, and how the umbrella became the symbol for Jyeshta. So do check it out if you have not. So it shows how peacock, the male Dhanishtas, we can say, was conscious of their appearance. It is very much possible. And after gaining the colors, he uses it to attract the opposite sex, which is the females. So peacock, how it dances when rain comes, as if rains and sounds of thunder are music to its ears. Again, the music connection. So they try to see the rhythm in everything. So which is one of the biggest remedy also we can say for the Dhanishta natives. We're going to talk more about that. And how the peacock feather are adorned on Krishna's flute. Many times we have seen it in the Krishna epics or Krishna's photos or murtis or statues. And we all know Krishna was a huge music lover and used to dance with gopis. Many times we have seen it in the many epics. So again, the music part is strongly connected with Dhanishta. And how it is connected, now you know. And peacock is also the Kartikeya Vahan, denotes the connection with the big leaders, the leaders who sits at the highest of the hierarchy. So even if these people are working under some people, they like to have the companionship, or they like to work for the big leaders, or they like to be a big leaders themselves, as just like we have discussed in the first slide. They like to be at the peak. At the peak of the summit. So what is the animal symbol? As we all know that there is an animal totem with each and every nakshatra. So for Dhanishta, it is female line. So what we can learn from the female line, what traits we can get from the female line. We all know it is fierceness, we can see in the female line, bravery, self-explanatory, independent nature, agility, yes. And agility, for agility, I would give a very good example in order to study more or in order to relate with this word right here is to see with the sports person associated with Dhanishta, with this nakshatra, with this energy, how agile they are. So very strong leg muscles, just like we have spoken for the same in the bird as well, strong legs. So they can have a very good thighs. And again, if any Dhanishta native is a runner, they have to have a very good strong legs. So which is a matter of research. Maybe one of you can do the research on PT Usha. I have not done it, but her picture just suddenly popped into my mind. I don't know her chart, but maybe she's Dhanishta too. I don't know, but maybe one of you guys can do the research. So based on that, mother is as the head of the family. So female dominance is very much in this nakshatra, and which we can see for Dhanishta ladies as well, Dhanishta natives as well, female ones. So female of the clan live together and they protect each other. Even they do the nurse for other cubs as well. That also we can see from the Dhanishta natives. Lioness are the hunters of the food in the family. We all know that. We have seen that in many Discovery Channel episodes. And Dhanishta women are usually like to work on their own or to be independent. So maybe some of you guys can relate to this. And lion, on the other hand, as we have seen on the Discovery Channel, they mostly kill to protect the clan. But who's getting the bread and butter? It is the lioness. The hunters of the food in the family are the lioness. Lioness are more faster than the lions, more competitive, I would also say. They run faster. Again, shows the female superiority, big time. I have seen it in many charts as well. That's where the marriage part can go haywire if the seventh lord is involved. Going into the sixth, I have seen it many times. So they are a tactful hunter as well. Lioness. It stays behind, blends in the surroundings like Dhanishta, and strikes at the right time. So that we can see for Dhanishta native as well. So lion can also do thievery. They can steal food from others as well. And Dhanishta, same goes with that. So Dhanishta natives can use the resources of others to achieve the fame and climb the ladder. Again, climbing the ladder, going up in the summit, going up to the peak. Urdhva Mukha connection, we can see. So which can be also taken as a con side, shadow side, dark side, whatever you can call it. That sometimes they can be sneaky. They can, in order to climb up in the summit, they can do that. So lioness hunts in group, excellent teamwork, which we can see in this mythology of Prabhasa, how the unity of the 8 brothers, 7 brothers, along with Prabhasa, where he wanted the cow and they stole it. So excellent teamwork we can also see. Or we can also see the very good relationship between the siblings. And again, if your third lord is afflicted and it's in Dhanishta, then it's a separate story. You have to see the full chart. So very well coordinated, structured, just like we have discussed here. So very good structure. Okay, so let me start again because I had to go. Someone came at the door. So I always try to bring some new points to my slide, to my each and every nakshatra I do. So maybe some of you guys already know. Those who don't know, it is very fascinating. Other than the dhan, other than the wealth, other than the dhun, Dhanishta is very much related to Kundalini, to the chakras. So as we all know, Mooladhara chakra, the root chakra, is ruled by Mars and resides at the bottom of the spine, close to the anus, and which controls our foundation. So imbalance of this chakra can lead to greed, illusion, feeling of insecurities, and safety issues. So very important to balance these chakras. And Kundalini arises from the back of the spine, close to the anus, travels up like the ladder, Urdhva Mukha, through the back to the heaven, to the top chakra, the crown chakra. And as we have discussed in the previous slide, spiral action, the wavelength of the sound, the spiral action of the musical instruments are also connected to the Kundalini Shakti, which climbs up in the spine like the snake. You must have seen in some videos, or maybe some learned scholars talking about the same thing. So other than the Purva Bhadrapada and Uttara Bhadrapada or Ashlesha, this is very much connected with Kundalini. So spine in Sanskrit also refers to Meru Danda, which also means sacred Meru mountain, considered the axis of the earth. So the spine is the axis of the human body, linking the earth, the Mooladhara chakra, all the way to the top, to the heaven, the crown chakra. So the alignment of these chakras, the tuning, the synchronization of these chakras results in the realization of the ultimate reality, which is the self-consciousness, the Paramatma, the self-realization, which is leading us to the moksha, the liberation. And also the symbol of the Mars is also a triangle, as we all know. Every planet have their shapes. So triangle is associated with Mars, like, what do you call it? Like a mountain, or like the pyramid also. Okay, let's discuss some of the traits for Dhanishta Nakshatra. So harmony, they do not like to harm others and expect the same from others. Very charitable. The example I have given here of Lady Diana, or I would say Salman Khan, because he also have moon in Dhanishta. Humanitarian, again Salman Khan, we can take his example, but not fragile. Very intelligent human beings, and that is for sure, I have seen in many charts. Ambitious but humble. Yes, bipolar nature, and that is also one of the trait one can see in the Dhanishta. Very social behavior, very expressive. That also I have seen consistently in Dhanishta. They like to make people comfortable around them. Yes, very much possible. Driven by purposes. They adjust very well to the circumstances. Very good at keeping secrets. That also I have seen in some of the charts, especially if the 8th Lord is involved. Excellent public speaking, just like we have discussed earlier in the slide as well. Their oratory skills are very good, especially if the 3rd Lord, or if in the 3rd house, it is Dhanishta Nakshatra. Favoring to the siblings, as we can learn from the Prabhasa mythology, how he was so much involved with his 7 brothers. And when he asked for the help, when he was seeking for the help, how they helped him, that also we can see. Very protected for the family, just like we can learn from the Linus totem as well. Very liberal and spendthrift. Yes, they have a spending attitude to the luxuries. That also I have seen in many charts, especially if it's falling in the 12th house. Yes, you can say that. The female looks very youthful. Again, it's very self-explanatory. Females are very dominant and head in the family. Maybe some of the Dhanishta females can correlate to that, or maybe some of the males can correlate to this. That we can learn from the animal symbology as well. Females are much more dominant and like to control the males. That is where a lot of matrimony issues comes up, a lot of hindrance related to the seventh house comes up, also in terms of sexuality, because they like to dominate. Males have seen to have sexuality issues. That also I have seen if it's afflicted the seventh house, or if not the seventh house, or if it's afflicted between the malefics or Rahu Ketu. And also I have seen in some of the chart which makes them misogynist. Yes, that also I have seen. Or it can lead them to homosexuality also, bachelorhood, celibacy, just like Bhishma, which is a very good example, which we're going to discuss more in the later slide. So males in Dhanishta are seen not to enjoy the day-to-day repetitive task of the marriage, and because of that they feel overburdened, bored, and then again some problems occur related to marriage. So this is very big. This is one of the remedies as well. I will tell you, especially I have seen if the second lord is in Dhanishta or second lord is Dhanishta, they have the tendency to take vows. So if you have taken a vow like Bhishma, try to fulfill that. I would say that is one of the biggest remedy you can do. So they love taking vows. Huge music lovers, that goes with the Dhanishta itself. They love music. And there's another thing which I would like to mention here. In the infants, as compared to the other nakshatras energy, I have seen infants, especially sun, moon in Dhanishta, they are more active infants as compared to the other nakshatras I have seen. They love to spend money on the materialistic pleasures, luxuries, but also serve the needy ones. And the good example we can take here is Salman Khan. They are very determined. And where Shravana has the power to connect, which I have already done the video on Shravana. It would be in my playlist for the Nakshatra series. Dhanishta has the power to use those connections and climb up. Again, the Urdhva Mukha concept, to gain fame and abundance. So climbing up the ladder, again, sometimes they can be sneaky, they can cheeky, and they can go the other way around. That is the another part. Okay, so some of the negative aspects of Dhanishta. So problem from in-laws for male natives. I have also seen it in many charts. And for Dhanishta women, in-laws create problems due to the jealousies and other factors, especially if the 8th lord is in Dhanishta. That also I have seen many times. Dhanishta can be vindictive. Do not forget and forgive, just like Burmese. They do not forget or forgive sometimes. And they strike back at the right time for the revenge. So they wait for the right time. That we have also seen when we were discussing about the Linus. So even if they have to wait for a few years, they have the tendency, they have the capability to do that. So they are too structured in their movement, and because of that, they can be very stubborn, like Bhishma we have discussed. So it is all about rhythm, following the rhythm, and they have their own rhythm. So they follow their own routine, own tune, own rhythm. That can sometimes can be a problem as well. So that also I have seen in many charts, or I have observed in my near and dear ones. So they have the tendency to follow their own rhythm. They make their own rhythm. They have the tendency to choose the wrong partner, especially the female natives. Yes, big time. And they get attracted to the different character from theirs. That also I have seen. Again, you have to look for the seventh lord in connection with the fifth lord. Many other factors. So this also I have seen in many charts. So female of this nakshatra, just like we have discussed earlier, they are more sexually dominant over men. And also they are go-getters, the female ones. So they tend to neglect their health until the last moment. If the sixth lord is involved, or Dhanishta is looking at the sixth lord, that also I have seen. Or if it's afflicted, until it becomes chronic, they have the tendency to neglect their health, which they should not. They want to compete. Oh, this is the big problem, especially if the seventh lord sitting in the sixth, they have the capacity to compete with their own partner. And again, because of that, the marriage suffers. Because they want to prove that they are more smarter, more intelligent. And again, that creates a lot of problem I have seen in many charts. And again, you can see all these points in the Navamsha as well. Okay, let's talk about some of the careers involved in this nakshatra. Big time, music, composers, DJs. Yes, I did not got the opportunity to do the research as I did not have the dates for legends like Beethoven, Yanni. So if you want to do the research and dig deep on that, please do, and educate us as well. So as Mars is involved, real estate agents, fund managers, Dhanishta, right? So wealth managers, musicians, drummers, choreographers, lawyers, engineers, again, Mars is involved. Teaching profession, yes, that also I have seen. Athletes, big time athletes. Wherever the Mangal is, athletes has to be there. Policing, very much I have seen that too. So let's take some of the big personalities for Dhanishta. So the biggest name comes to my mind is right here, JP Morgan Saab. He needs no introduction. In the biggest fund management groups in the world, JP Morgan. Everybody knows that. Indira Ghazi, again, sports. Wherever the sports is there, Dhanishta has to be there, Mars has to be there. Indira Ghazi, Ricky Ponting, again, very well-versed Australian, ex-Australian cricket captain. Salman Khan. And there was one more, Marilyn Monroe. Tina Ambani, she needs no introduction in India, or maybe in worldwide. Narendra Modi Saab also have Jupiter in Dhanishta, so no wonder. So these are some of the examples. I think even Katrina Kaif is also, she also have moon in Dhanishta. And here in Salman Khan case also we can see, even if you dig deep more in their personal life, it's going to make more sense. With the marriage part, the personal issues, this and that. So this is some of the examples I have taken. Okay, so let's talk some of the general remedies we can do, some guidance related to the Dhanishta, how to align their soul with this nakshatra. So worshipping Durga is one of the remedies also you can do, because we all know goddess Durga uses lion as her vahan. So very good remedy I have given here. Vishnu Sahasranam. I would say for all the 27 nakshatras, the ultimate remedy, because everybody needs remedy, we all need remedy, is to recite or to do Vishnu Sahasranam. Very powerful. And it is handed over by Bhishma to the Pandavas, where he enlightened the Pandavas on the dharma and adharma. And who gave the duty? Lord Krishna. Worship of Lord Ayappa. He is the manifestation of Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. And again, there is a huge mythology involved with Lord Ayappa. But on this slide, I have taken the Prabhasa one. So again, with each and every nakshatra, there are so many mythologies involved. So worshipping of Lord Ayappa, a lot of people, those who live in the south, they know who Lord Ayappa is. So worshipping Lord Ayappa is a very big remedy for Dhanishta. Worshipping of Kartikeya as a or Skanda, we can also say, relation to the Mars. And also, who's the Vahan? Peacock. Again, the peacock connection. And who's the sibling? Ganesha. He is the remedies of the Lord of all the remedies. So, and also we can see the sibling connection here. Okay, so what are the lessons? What are the intake or the conclusion we got from the mythology, which we have discussed earlier? And these are some of the new points. So in the stories of Astha Vasus, cow represented the wealth and the desire of the Prabhasa's wife, how they got caught into the adharma part with the temptation she had, and how she approached Prabhasa to get that Nandini for her. So that is a big lesson here. And Bhishma, we all know, although he fought against the Pandavas, but he stood by his king, he stood by his dharma, and he showed his loyalty to his king because he was duty bound due to the birth in this family. So what we can learn here, the biggest thing, the loyalty, how loyal the Dhanishta natives can be, like the Bhishma. So that is a very big take. And this point is connected to the first one again. So how the great wars represents the battle we face within ourselves. Everything is inside. In each and every nakshatra somehow is connected to everything is inside. Can lead us to the temptation right here, the desire. And desire drive us to commit a dharma, which Prabhasa and the seven brothers did. And sometimes we don't even deserve those objects of our desire, and we simply fall prey to imbalance, to what I can say, the misalignment of these 8 elements or of these chakras, and that can lead to the actions of adharma, which happened here. And then later they got cursed. So it is very big lesson here from this mythology. So how to get rid of temptations and desires. Maybe on some other day we can talk about that, because yesterday someone was telling me even the desire, it is written in the Bhagavad Gita, even the desire laugh at us. It is mentioned there in the Bhagavad Gita, because in order to get rid of the desire, that is also a desire. So that is a big chapter. We're going to discuss about that some other day, which is a very big intake here. So we can only reach out a true potential by communicating, by aligning, by balancing these elements, these chakras with the higher consciousness, the Paramatma, the Atma, the self-realization. So these are very subtle, beautiful points. Okay, so here we're going to talk, as we all know, Bhishma ji is very well connected to this nakshatra, and I will not do the justice if we don't talk about Bhishma ji here. So the greatest example of loyalty we have discussed earlier, devotion, sacrifice, a true Kshatriya with no passions or desires. A complete teacher, having learned from the various acharyas like Pashuramji and all, is also called as Bhishmacharya. So for all his duties and devotion, he still suffered and had to repent for his karmas, past as Ashtavasus, as Prabhasa, and present where he kidnapped Amba. It is mentioned there in the Mahabharata. You all must have seen. So where he kidnapped Ambika and Ambalika against their will, and also the karma letting Adharma against Draupadi when they were playing. The Pandavas were playing Chaucer with Duryodhan and all. So very, very big point. And Samadhi, he decided to leave his mortal body after laying on 58 days on bed of arrows. And again, see, there is points after points, there is mythology after mythology. Because there is another point coming to my mind which is not mentioned here. See, Bhishma ji, Bhumi ji, the Mother Earth denied taking Lord Bhishma because she said that you have lived for forever. So she denied, and even the space, the sky, the ether, he denied as well. So then he told Arjuna to put the arrows in such a way that he can lie down. So neither he's on the sky, neither he's on the bhumi. So there is each and every minute detail we should study and learn behind each and every nakshatra. Why he's lying on the arrows? What is the logic behind? So again, that is a separate story. So when sun started his upward journey, the Uttarayan, which we have discussed, it is said that the doors of the Devaloka opens when sun starts its journey upwards. Again, the Urdu or Mukha connection. That's where he left, he took his last breath. When the sun started its journey to the Uttarayan, to the north. And even if some of you guys have all must have seen me talking about the opposite nakshatra concept, and here also in the first part, earlier initially I was talking about a little bit about Magha, the opposite nakshatra, because it is very important to look at the opposite nakshatra. Why certain nakshatras are only opposite to certain nakshatras? Again, there must be some logic. So it is said on the 8th tithi of the Magha month. Again, I think it's in the Shukla Pakshi. Don't quote me wrong on that. I might be wrong, I guess. But I think it's Shukla Pakshi. So 8th tithi of the Magha month marks his death anniversary, also called as Bhishma Ashtami. So again, it is coming in the Magha month, in which is the nakshatra opposite to the Dhanishta in the Aquarius part. It is Magha. And again, on the 11th tithi of Magha month in Shukla Paksh, he recited the Vishnu Sahasranam to the world. And who had given that duty? Lord Krishna himself. So these were some few points for Lord Bhishma. So I think that's it. I thank you all. And I welcome all the new members, new subscribers, new viewers as well. This is my 2 cents on Dhanishta Nakshatra, or on the Nakshatra I'm doing it. And I also want to mention, because a lot of viewers requested me, as they wanted to learn nakshatras from me, and I'm trying my best to do or to present as best I can on these nakshatras, because some of them, they said that they cannot afford going to the very renowned or big scholars, where I think it is a paid version. So they requested me personally that can you give some information on these nakshatras. So I hope you like the presentation which I have put in, because a lot of hard work is involved in all these slides and all. So मैं आशा करता हूँ आपको ये वीडियो अच्छी लगी होगी, presentation अच्छी लगी होगी. I will do all the 27 nakshatras, and I'll see you all again with some other slides. Thank you all.